6 mascaras are named in a federal lawsuit over forever chemicals. I checked 10 Maybelline products, and the worst thing I found isn't in the lawsuit. Maybelline is the biggest mascara brand on earth. Great Lash alone has been on drugstore shelves since 1971. There are people wearing it today whose grandmothers wore it. So, this video does 2 things. First, exactly what L'Oréal is accused of, what the court has already thrown out, and what's still alive. Then, 10 Maybelline products, ingredient list by ingredient list. Nobody sponsored this, no affiliate links. Let's start with the lawsuit. In 2021, Notre Dame researchers tested 231 cosmetics for fluorine, a marker for PFAS, the forever chemicals. Among waterproof mascaras, roughly 82% came back high. Class actions followed against L'Oréal USA, Maybelline's parent company, naming 6 waterproof mascaras, 4 of them Maybelline. The allegation isn't that the products are poison, it's that PFAS were there and never disclosed. Now the part most videos skip. This hasn't gone smoothly for the plaintiffs. One early suit was voluntarily dismissed. In September 2024, the judge cut 6 named plaintiffs and several claims because they never said when they bought the mascaras. The case survives, trimmed. L'Oréal denies wrongdoing. And the counterweight I won't hide. Chemists, including Michelle Wong, who has a PhD in chemistry, argue makeup isn't a major PFAS exposure route compared to food packaging and water. Allegations, trimmed, disputed. So I stopped reading the filing and started reading the labels. Number 10. Lash Sensational Sky High, the regular washable version. The one that went so viral on TikTok it sold out worldwide. Start with the good. This is water-based, and crucially, it's not one of the products named in the lawsuit. It uses synthetic fluoroflogopite, lab-made mica, which matters because natural mica mining has a documented child labor problem in parts of India. Synthetic is the ethically better call, and Maybelline made it here. 2 things worth knowing. There's alcohol denate fairly high in the list, and sodium lauryl sulfate, a surfactant most people know from shampoo. If your eyes sting or feel dry with this one, those are your 2 likeliest suspects. And one thing nobody tells you, it contains carmine, a red pigment made from crushed cochineal insects. This mascara is not vegan, and it never says so on the tube. Number 9. The Falsies Lash Lift, washable version. And the distinction matters enormously here, so pay attention to which tube you own. The lawsuit names Volum Express the Falsies Waterproof. This washable one is a different product with a different formula, and it is not on the list. The formula is conventional: waxes, film formers, jojoba and palm oil, rayon fibers for length. Same 2 flags as number 10, sodium lauryl sulfate, and carmine, so again, not vegan. It also contains BHT, the antioxidant the EU capped at 0.8% in 2022 over endocrine disruption concerns. In a mascara, that's a tiny amount, so I won't inflate it into a scandal. But it's the first appearance of an ingredient European regulators actually acted on, and not the last. Number 8. The Sky High Tinted Primer, the base coat you put on before mascara. Good bits first. Panthenol, genuinely conditioning, plus jojoba and rosehip oil. Reasonable build for a lash primer. But this one stacks 2 preservative antioxidants, BHT again, and propyl gallate. Propyl gallate is worth flagging because it's a recognized contact allergen restricted in the EU, and dermatologists see it in patch testing as a cause of eyelid dermatitis, that red, itchy, flaky lid people usually blame on their mascara. If you use a primer plus mascara plus a top coat, you're layering 3 formulas on the thinnest skin on your body, and this is the layer with the allergen in it. Not dangerous, but if your lids react and you never suspected the primer, start here. Number 7. Lash Sensational Waterproof. And I want to be precise about something, because precision is the whole point of this channel. This is a waterproof mascara. It is not named in the lawsuit. Waterproof does not automatically mean a product is in the litigation, and I'm not going to imply otherwise. The formula is solvent-based. built on isododecane, which evaporates and leaves waxes and film formers locked onto your lashes. That's the entire mechanism of waterproof mascara. It also means removal is harsh. You can't wash this off with a face wash. You need an oil or a biphase remover, and the #1 cause of lash breakage people complain about is rubbing at waterproof mascara with a dry cotton pad night after night. The formula is fine. The habit it creates is what damages your lashes. Number 6, Sky High Waterproof. Same viral product as number 10, but the waterproof version and the formula is completely different. Isododecane base, alcohol denat, paraffin, BHT again, carmine again. But there's one ingredient here the washable version doesn't have: talc. Talc is the subject of an enormous, ongoing legal saga. Johnson & Johnson pulled talc baby powder off the entire planet and offered billions to settle ovarian cancer claims. The concern was never talc itself. It's that talc is mined near asbestos deposits, creating a cross-contamination risk if it isn't rigorously purified. To be fair, cosmetic-grade talc is required to be asbestos-free, and I am not telling you this mascara contains asbestos. There's no evidence of that. What I am telling you is that talc is the one mainstream cosmetic ingredient with a multi-billion-dollar contamination litigation history attached, and it's in a product you apply a centimeter from your eyeball. Maybelline makes the exact same mascara without talc in the washable version. That's a choice worth knowing about. Number 5. The Falsies Lash Lift Waterproof. Talc again, BHT again, alcohol denate again, carmine again. But this is where the lawsuit gets personally relevant, because Maybelline's naming is genuinely confusing. The suit names Volum Express the Falsies Waterproof. On shelves right now, you'll find the Falsies Lash Lift, the Falsies Surreal, and older Volume Express tubes, all under the Falsies umbrella, in similar packaging. So if you own a Falsies mascara, and you're wondering whether yours is the one in the litigation, read the actual product name, not the brand family. Volume Express is the phrase to look for. That's not pedantry. That's the difference between a product in a federal court filing and one that isn't, and the packaging doesn't make it obvious. Number 4. Total Temptation Waterproof. And now we're into the products actually named in the complaint. 2 versions of this appear in the filing: Total Temptation Waterproof and Volume Express Total Temptation Waterproof. According to the lawsuit, independent third-party lab testing found detectable levels of PFAS in these products. Let me be exact about what that means. It does not mean PFAS are listed on the label. The entire allegation is that they weren't disclosed. It does not mean a court has ruled anything. And it does not mean one tube will make you ill. It means a lab looked at this specific product, found markers for forever chemicals, and L'Oréal is defending that in federal court while denying wrongdoing. If you bought this mascara anytime from 2018 onward, you're potentially inside the proposed class the lawyers are trying to certify. Worth knowing regardless of what you think of the science. Number 3. Volume Express, the Falsies Waterproof. This is the exact product name in the filing. The Falsies has been a flagship for over a decade, sold in the tens of millions, and the waterproof version sits in the middle of the complaint. Here's the pattern that explains why this is a category problem, not a Maybelline problem. Notre Dame found high fluorine in roughly 82% of the waterproof mascaras tested, across many brands. Not 82% of Maybelline's. 82% of waterproof mascaras, full stop. PFAS are in these products for a reason. They're exceptionally good at repelling water. That's literally what the customer is buying. The industry reached for the chemistry that works, and disclosure never caught up. Maybelline is being sued because it's enormous and an easy target. The issue is the entire waterproof category. Number 2, Great Lash Waterproof, the pink and green tube, launched in 1971. This isn't just a mascara. It's arguably the most recognizable cosmetic product in American history. In makeup bags for over 50 years, the one people buy without thinking because their mother bought it. And the waterproof version is named in the complaint alongside the others. There's something deflating about that. The other products here are modern formulas with modern marketing. Great Lash is heritage, the safe, boring, trusted choice. and it's in a federal court filing over undisclosed chemicals. But the lawsuit is not the most alarming thing about Great Lash, because I then read the ingredient list on the original, number 1, the original Great Lash, not the waterproof one, the classic pink and green tube that's been on shelves since 1971. 14 ingredients. Here's what's on the published U.S. ingredient list: water, beeswax, ozokerite, shellac, glyceryl stearate, triethanolamine, propylene glycol, stearic acid, sorbitan sesquioleate, and then 4 things I want to say slowly: methylparaben, quaternium-15, quaternium-22, and butylparaben. Start with quaternium-15. It's a preservative that works by slowly releasing formaldehyde to kill bacteria, and it is prohibited in the European Union. Not restricted, not capped. Listed in Annex 2, the outright ban list, since 2017, when the EU classified it alongside formaldehyde itself as a substance of concern. In the United States, it is legal with no concentration limit at all. So the same mascara, the same pink and green tube, sold in London and sold in Ohio, does not have the same formula. People who've compared the labels report the UK version doesn't contain quaternium-15 at all. European regulators said no. American regulators never asked. Then there's butylparaben, which the EU restricted to 0.14% in 2014 over hormone activity concerns, and banned outright from leave-on products for children under 3. Again, no federal limit in the US. Now the fairness, because I won't do this without it. The American Cancer Society's position is that although quaternium-15 does release formaldehyde, the amounts released from cosmetics are low, and it's unclear whether avoiding it provides any health benefit. That's a mainstream scientific position, and you should weigh it. It's also true that quaternium-15 was the 14th most common allergen in mid-2000s patch testing, and Johnson & Johnson voluntarily phased it out by 2015, before any American law required it. One more thing, and it matters. Formulas change without announcement. I'm reading the published U.S. ingredient list, and Maybelline may have reformulated. So check your own tube. If quaternium-15 is on it, you're holding a product Europe decided wasn't acceptable 9 years ago. That's number 1. And no lawyer had to sue anybody to find it. It's printed on the side of the box. So where does that leave you? The lawsuit is real, but it's been trimmed by a judge. L'Oréal denies it, and credible chemists argue mascara isn't a major PFAS route anyway. I'm not telling you to panic. I'd watch what a court actually decides. The thing I'd act on is the thing nobody sued over. An ingredient Europe banned in 2017 has been sitting on the side of America's most famous mascara this whole time, legal, unrestricted, and the version sold in Britain apparently doesn't contain it. That gap isn't an allegation, it's just the rule. So, practically, and it costs nothing, turn the tube over. If you use waterproof mascara, know it's the highest PFAS category, and remove it with oil, not friction. And if you see quaternium-15 on anything, that's the one I'd put down. Tell me which Maybelline product you own, and I'll pull its actual ingredient list and tell you honestly, keep it or bin it. See you in the next one.